All right, let's talk about a system that's honestly deceptively simple, but also powerful enough to drive some of the biggest companies in the world, like Intel and Google. We're going to dive into how they achieve such ambitious goals. So, why do we even need a system like this? Well, it starts with a pretty massive problem. We're in the middle of a global employee engagement crisis. Think about that. Most people showing up to work are not really in it. They're not enthusiastic or committed. And that's not just a bummer. It has a real cost. A lot of that disengagement comes down to one simple, nagging question. As the CEO of Box once said, at any given moment, a huge chunk of your people are probably working on the wrong stuff. So let me ask you, is it possible your teams are giving 110% but pointed in the completely wrong direction?
Okay, so this leads us to our first section, the goal-setting crisis. Because that's really what we're talking about here. When people don't have clear goals that connect to a bigger mission, you just get wasted effort and, frankly, burnout.
And look, this isn't just some abstract philosophical problem. It's a business problem. It hits the bottom line hard. When teams are engaged, profits go up, people stick around longer. So figuring out this whole goal-setting thing, it's one of the most important things a company can do. So let's get to the solution. Section 2, a gift for Google. And the story behind this is pretty awesome, actually. It involves a legendary manager, a sharp young engineer, and a little gift that would change everything for a tiny startup. Okay, so picture this. It's the 1970s. Intel's CEO, the brilliant Andy Grove, creates this killer management system. And one of his engineers, a young guy named John Doerr, soaks it all up. Now, fast forward a couple of decades to 1999, Doerr is a venture capitalist, and he brings this system, this gift, to a tiny little startup he's just invested in. And yeah, that startup was Google.
So what is this magical gift? It's called the OKR framework, objectives and key results. And it's so simple, it's beautiful. The objective is the what. It's your big inspirational destination. The key results, they're the how. They are the specific, measurable steps that prove you're actually getting there. Simple as that. If you hit your key results, you've achieved your objective.
All right, this is where it gets really fun. John Doerr describes OKRs as having superpowers. We're going to break down 3 of the most important ones: focus, align, and stretch. And Google's co-founder Larry Page just nailed the first superpower with this quote: "It's all about deciding what really matters and putting all your energy there, instead of spreading yourself thin." So, superpower number 1, focus. Here's a perfect example. There's an education tech company called Remind. Their users were begging for this one feature. But when the team looked at their most important OKR, driving user engagement, they realized this new feature just wouldn't move the needle. So they made the tough, disciplined call to say no. That is focus in action. All right, let's move on to superpower number 2, align. And to get this, just look at this classic problem MyFitnessPal had. You've got the product team trying like crazy to launch a new service, but at the same time, the engineering team's goal is all about maintaining the site. They were both working hard, but they were basically canceling each other out, rowing in opposite directions and going nowhere. And that's why making OKRs public is such a game changer. It creates transparency. Suddenly, everybody, from the CEO down to an intern, can see how their work fits into the big picture. You see what other teams are doing, you see how you depend on each other, and it connects everything back to the main mission. It's incredibly motivating. Okay, our third superpower is all about thinking big. It's called stretch. And this number, 1 billion, represents one of the most famous, most audacious stretch goals in recent history. It was YouTube's moonshot to hit 1 billion hours of watch time per day. When they set that goal, it seemed absolutely impossible. So how on earth did they pull it off? It's brilliant, actually. They changed what they measured. They realized their old metric, just counting views, was actually encouraging junk, clickbait, and short videos. So they shifted their focus to watch time. And by doing that, they started rewarding quality content that people actually wanted to stick around for. That one strategic shift made the impossible possible. But here's the thing. OKRs aren't just a mechanical system of numbers and targets. The real magic, the true power, gets unlocked when you combine the system with a culture of constant communication. And that's where we meet CFRs. You can think of them as the human engine that makes the OKR vehicle go.
It stands for continuous conversations about progress, ongoing two-way feedback, and frequent recognition for good work. This is what turns goal setting from a top-down chore into a living, breathing dialogue. And this slide just lays out the difference so clearly. On the left, you've got the old way, the dreaded annual review that everybody hates, right? It's backward-looking, often biased, and ties everything to your salary, which makes people afraid to take risks. And on the right, a totally different world. It's continuous, it's about coaching, it's about building on people's strengths. It's a game changer. So when you boil it all down, this is the secret. The real home run isn't just the goals. It's the marriage between those ambitious goals from OKRs and the continuous, human-centric conversations you have with CFRs. One gives you the map, the other provides the fuel.
And that brings us right back to you. This system isn't just for tech giants. It's about getting crystal clear on what you're trying to do. It forces you to have the hard, important conversations about what really matters. So, the question I'll leave you with is this. What's your moonshot? What incredible thing is your team capable of if you just started measuring what truly matters?